welcome to Make It Nice, the little show where we spin yarns about reality TV to forget about the bleak reality in which we live. I'm Haley.
I'm Katie, and I'm just going to say today feels less bleak because it's almost 70 degrees in Virginia.
Wow, happy spring. It was like 50 degrees in New York yesterday, and even though I woke up today and there was frost on the ground, I think it's almost 50 degrees again now outside, hopefully. But it's
Is it global warming? Yes. Are we also seasonally depressed? Yes.
Oh, truly.
Acknowledging those things.
I think I can't remember. I don't think I said this to you, but I saw a tweet screenshot on Instagram that was like, I never believed that seasonal depression is a thing until the first 50-degree day, and I feel like a whole new person. And then I realize how depressed I've been. And it's like, yes.
Saw it and I read it to Brian and I was like, today feels like a party drug. They're right.
Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was.
It feels like popping Molly or something. And I was like, it does. It's like I've never popped Molly. It's what I imagine it would be like.
I know. Exactly. That's exactly how it feels.
I love the spring because it's like, I mean, for all of the reasons everybody loves the spring, but like when you're in meetings or whatever, and everyone's like, oh, how are you doing? And like, the weather is always a nice thing to have to like start that moment. And in the winter, you're like, no one wants to talk about the fact that it's gray and cold and you're miserable. And there's only so many times you can be happy about wearing a sweater. Like the change of seasons is so necessary for my small talk repertoire, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I just really require it.
I know. I usually like spring definitely isn't my favorite season because I usually just associate it with like dirty snow.
Yeah.
But then there are days like today when it's just really sunny and you're like, wow, I forgot like what direct sunlight on my skin feels like, and it's delightful.
Right. Like I take a multivitamin that has like all of the vitamin D your body like needs to survive. I cannot simulate the feeling of going for a walk in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And like the effect on your mental health. Like before we sat down to like hop on this call, I was like, I'm going for a walk. And it was the greatest moment of my life. There were birds singing. It was breezy. Sky is blue. That's all I have to say. It's just nice. Get outside. Listen to us as you go for a walk.
Oh, wow. So, in the spirit of springtime and new growth and rebirth, what are you creating this week, Katie?
Oh my God, so many things. So, if you see me looking down, it's because I am knitting.
Yay!
I am nowhere near the skilled knitter that you are, my friend, but I am very proficient in the basic scarf. So I am just knitting a scarf, which is a lot of fun. But also, sorry, my yarn got tangled. Also, I am creating some space in my life, in my home, and in my heart for a new kitty.
Yay!
So we have Max, and I've talked about Max before, and she's wonderful, and she's the light of my life. But tomorrow, knocking on wood, we will be bringing home her little brother, Snacks.
Oh my God, I'm so excited for you.
He is adorable. We adopted Max from one of my coworkers who takes care of a bunch of stray cats. And one of the cats had kittens and she wanted to find homes for them. And that's how we got Max. Snacks just like showed up a couple weeks ago. And she's like, he's so cute and he's so adorable. And you can definitely show the camera that photo I just sent you.
Oh my God. Okay. Snacks sitting in flowers. The true epitome of springtime.
Look at the kitten belly.
Oh my God.
He's just like the sweetest. We were supposed to bring him home last weekend, but we were a little worried that he might have some fleas. So we just wanted to bring him to the vet first. That's why he's coming home tomorrow. And we're very excited.
Yay!
And if anybody wants to see Max and Snacks together, I may have created an Instagram for them, which I will make sure is linked in the show notes, because someone pointed out we didn't plan to name him Snacks. They called him Snacks before we knew we were going to take him home. But someone pointed out that their names rhyme perfectly. So now they're going to be influencers, I've decided. So that is what I am doing. I am calling on all of my maternal instincts. I am creating space. I'm growing our family. I'm really excited.
I'm so excited for this journey. Oh, so excited.
Yeah. So maybe the next time we talk, I'll have updates because hopefully we will have him.
Yay! Hopefully.
What are you creating? Are you getting Buster a little brother or sister?
No. I am fine with Buster. He is fine with me. Well, like you, I am also knitting. And I'm knitting a sweater, and I did something new this time, which is fading one yarn color into another.
Ooh, yeah.
Which seems easy, but has always been intimidating to me because I feel confident in like my tech, like a lot of stitch techniques,
Yeah.
but like not in my color choices or anything.
Mm.
But this seems to be going really well. So I'll show you the cake. So I had these two skeins of like this like lavender.
Yeah.
And then one of this, the color is called Thai basil, but it's this pretty green with like purple.
Oh, it's got some purple in it. Yeah.
So I figured these two would go really well together.
Yeah.
So
talk about spring.
Yeah,
spring
right?
colors.
Right? So I'm knitting this sweater and I'm like really happy at how cool that fade is going.
Oh, that's perfect. You know what's super cool about the green? It's got purple in it. So it looks like oh my God, you're so smart.
Yeah, so that's exciting because I haven't really done a fade like that before, but I think I'm like really happy with how it's turning out.
I really like that. That's pretty.
And they're not like, I don't usually knit with like purple and green.
Yeah, they're not color like they're Barney colors usually.
I know, but I'm actually kind of like I'm really happy with how this is going to turn out, and I feel like I'm going to feel like a spring flower when I wear it, and I'm excited.
You are. Yes, I love it. Oh, I am knitting. Yes. I don't remember if I said this before we started recording or not. I am not using fancy yarn. It is some yarn that I got from a friend who was purging her own collection. And she gave me a bunch of like weird amounts. So there's not much, like I can't do like a big project with it, even if I wanted to, which I would love to, but skill also not there. So I'm making a bunch of scarves from it, and I'm going to donate it to that organization that we've donated before.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I am really, really bad, and I didn't donate this year. Usually, okay, so backstory. In 2015, I started knitting in the winter and donating in the winter, like hats and scarves and mittens and stuff to an organization called the International Institute of Buffalo. And they work with refugees who are placed like in Western New York. And they also offer like services and placement services and other like social supports for women in like domestic violence situations, like survivors and like women and families who are survivors of domestic violence. So I started doing that in 2015, and I've donated like a fair amount of winter stuff every year. And my grandma and I usually do it together. And like you have donated, some of my cousin, like one of my cousins has, in the past years has like knitted stuff to donate, and it's been like a really, really great like experience, and I love doing it. Uh this year I was really bad, and my grandma gave me a bunch of stuff, and some of her like she even like told some of her church ladies about it, and they gave her a bunch of stuff to give me to donate, and I
Oh
have like
wow.
2 boxes of stuff to donate, and I didn't do it this year, and now it's like March and it just feels too late. So I'm gonna have to like wait
Just
till
hang on to it and do a big,
December,
yeah.
which I feel bad about, but um
Life happens. I don't think you should feel bad. Like as long as like, you know, they'll get there eventually, right?
yeah, but yeah, anyway, donate stuff because it's good.
Yeah, and like if you have hobbies like this where you're able to create things and like maybe consider creating things for people in your community who need them.
Mhm.
And remember, not all of your neighbors are the ones in houses. Like maybe there are some unhoused people in your neighborhood. Like ask if they need anything. Say
Mhm.
hi, bring them some water when it gets hot. Like your neighbors are more than the people who live in four walls. So
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, because now that I live in Albany, I was thinking about like donating some items to organizations like shelters or
yeah.
organizations that do services for unhoused populations. Obviously, I also didn't do that this year, but there are options.
Yeah.
So
I just did, I think I talked about it last week, but I did some spring cleaning and I cleaned out my bathroom and linen closet, and I donated a bunch of like travel size shampoos that I had that I just like will never use, but I also refuse to leave a hotel without stealing everything. Um, so like I gathered a bunch of those off and I like donated them, and you know, there's stuff like that around our house, our homes, and like toothpaste and extra stuff. Like people are people and people need these things too. So
that's such a good idea.
yeah, so that's our plug for supporting your community.
Yeah.
And then less well-intentioned and good-natured things, bachelor.
Yeah. Well, okay, before we start off the transition from being good people to being shit people,
Yeah.
and watching shit TV, I want to do a dramatic reading of a quote from um this wonderful piece of literature called The Wig, the Bitch, and the Meltdown by J. Manuel. I discussed this book last week, even though I couldn't remember the name of the book or who actually wrote it. Although I think I did link it in the notes, but it is indeed J. Manuel. And it's a novel, but it's about a creative director of a modeling reality TV show that's not America's Next Top Model, but it definitely is.
Also, can I just point out that if it's not supposed to be America's Next Top Model, why did he use the America's Next Top Model font?
The font, that is obviously him, even though the main character is named Pablo. Like, look at his face and his hair. That is Okay, if
If
you
you
don't,
just showed me that and said, who is that? I would say J. Manuel.
right. For anyone who doesn't know J. Manuel, look at this drawing and then look at his author photo. How is that not the same person?
Basically the same outfit, I will point out.
I know. Like classic.
Okay,
And
maybe
then
not, but
obviously Tyra Banks. So I am only 28 pages in because I was reading it before bed last night, and as we discussed earlier, I fell asleep at 9:30 because I was reading this book.
honestly, I understand.
um it is a true classic, a literary genius. um
Shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize.
Truly. Okay. Now for the dramatic reading. This is, for context, this is the so before the novel begins, there is a quote on the first few pages, as some novels do. However, this quote is attributed to J. Manuel in the beginning of a novel written by J. Manuel.
I have read a lot of books. I'm gonna like a lot of books. That is weird.
I know, like, sir, you're writing a, like, this is
a thesis statement.
This is a 300 plus page book.
No,
technically, like, all your quote. Why are you quoting yourself in the beginning of the book? In the beginning of a book that you wrote.
Yeah, I don't. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, though. It basically is his thesis statement, because listen. The world of reality TV is not real, and yet reality television has morphed into reality. I've worked in this world of smoke and mirrors, and when the smoke dissipates, the mirror reflects the truth. J. Manuel.
The tea is ice cold in both. Okay, Jay, thank you for that, earth-shattering reflection. Okay. That really gets me in the right mindset to read his book, though, because it's like, oh, okay, so he's going to talk about the tensions between what is reality on reality TV. Got it. Done. Do I need to read the book now? No? Okay.
I'll let you know 300 in the next 300 pages, whether it's worth it or not.
Can you read me the last sentence, or will that ruin your reading experience?
I don't do that.
Come on. Hayley. Okay. I won't pressure you.
Oh, no, because I feel like if I do it, then I won't read it. Like,
okay, fair enough. Fair enough. You need your own internal motivation. Yeah, don't listen to me.
Okay, no.
But you will need to mail this to me when you're done.
Yes, I will. Oh, okay. I know we're going on serious tangents, but I also, okay, there are a few things. First, don't read anything on the back, but just look at the like design. Like, there are no margins on this.
Terrible.
Wait, I know,
who did the blurbs? I can't. Vanessa,
no, don't look at the blurbs yet. Just look at the aesthetic and the lack of margin.
It's bad.
It's very bad. Okay, now I'll read you the blurb.
Did he self-publish this?
I think so. Well, no, I mean, he definitely has a publisher.
It definitely looks like a self-published book.
No, there is a publisher, but it's like not.
It's like not even a university press.
It's not Simon and Schuster, okay?
It is J. Manuel's Basement Press.
It's wordy. That's the publisher.
I've never heard. Okay, all right.
Where worlds connect. No, where I can't even read. Where words connect.
Maybe they'll publish the romance I wrote in middle school.
I mean, send it to them. So the sorry, I was just looking, it's like discolored. I didn't notice that before. But anyway, okay, so there are 3 blurbs on the back. One is from Billy Porter, one is from Vanessa Williams, and one is from Julie Auerbach. I don't know who that is. Do you know?
I don't know who that is either.
Okay. Well, okay. Billy Porter says, I clutched my pearls through this page-turning read that's laugh out loud funny. She's a Kiki, darling. It's equally heartbreaking, suspenseful, and always fast-paced. The category is legendary.
Okay.
Which is just like...
Hans. That is so many cultural references in one blurb. I don't even know where to start.
I know. Like, I could, that's like on brand, but it also sounds like someone wrote a generic quote that they think the character Billy Porter would say.
Yeah.
and then put it on the
It
book.
is, I mean, for Billy Porter to me is just like the definition of like modern camp. And that is what I would imagine a campy person would write about a book. So
yeah, I mean, it definitely sounds on brand. Vanessa Williams blurb it's not worth reading. But on the topic of Vanessa Williams, have you listened to
yes.
Oh my God, it's so good. Okay.
People who don't know why I just screamed yes instead of letting Hayley finish talking. Our mutual favorite podcast, You're Wrong About, just did the first of what I think is going to be a 2-part series about Vanessa Williams, talking about her life before Miss America and then like the fallout related to, you know, her nude photo scandals. I say in quote because like I don't think it's scandalous to have taken naked photos. But it was excellent.
I want to read her memoir so badly now.
Yeah.
I think we should do some sort of like once we have time, do some sort of book club around it because it
sounds great.
It's this, and also like we can just do whatever we want because it's our show anyway.
Right. This is fun for us. We don't care about you guys. You guys are just like whatever. No, that's not true. We love you, but we also want to make sure this is fun.
Brian, this is the part where you unmute the video so you can hear that we're saying I love you.
Now he's rewinding because he thinks he heard his name when he was half paying attention to our video. I love you. Yeah, no, I'd definitely be down for that.
Okay, cool.
We should also read Chris Harrison's book at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe that's just like a private read that I'll do.
Yeah.
I just want to know how he thinks about sex, honestly. Because that passage they read this past season was bad.
So bad. So bad.
Yeah, no, I'm down for that. We should definitely read it.
Sweet. Okay, great.
But now that we've been so elegantly introduced to the world of reality television, being Smoke and Mirrors by esteemed author J. Manuel, let's talk about Bachelor.
Okay, great. Let's talk about Bachelor. What's up? I have my mug that you and I both have.
Yes.
That I think perfectly encapsulates how I feel about Bachelor this week, which I think we say every time one of us is drinking out of this mug and recording this.
Yes. Yeah. It's great. I also feel not well, bitch, about this episode and this season of The Bachelor. I mentioned it last week. I always get Bachelor fatigue this time of year. It like, I don't know, the story seems to slow down. It's like less exciting, even though like this is what the excitement is supposed to be about. I always feel really bored. Like, okay, let's fucking end this shit. I just like,
agreed.
I don't know. At this point, he knows who he's going to pick, and they drag it out for 3 weeks. And it's like, I could do without that.
Yeah.
So the episode was Fantasy Suites. But before we can even get to Fantasy Suites, Matt gives us this really thoughtful, I think, introduction to what we're about to see, which is him having a conversation with his estranged father, Manny. Yeah. I have a lot of thoughts. What did you think about it?
Okay, so my first thought, like my first reaction to it was that it's gross, obviously.
Yeah.
I have to note that I don't know, I can't remember if we mentioned this like on a recording or if you and I were just talking about this, but I think we were under the impression that he was going to be surprised.
Yes.
Which he was not.
He was not.
He, I think, asked for it to happen. and seemed to be very in control of the situation. However, it still felt gross because it just felt like a conversation that shouldn't have happened on TV. And I
Yes.
felt awkward watching it. I felt gross watching it because there wasn't a real resolution. It just like felt uncomfortable, which like I guess it's authenticity, but also it just feels like
Feels like trauma porn,
oh, yeah,
honestly.
exactly. And I don't wanna, like, make any assumptions either because it
Of
did seem like it was Matt's choice to have this on the
course.
show, and maybe it was because he felt like he had more power in the situation because he was like on his own show kind of so he could have this conversation, but it just felt so uncomfortable both for Matt and for his dad. Like I'm not making excuses for his dad, but it was like he was like in this situation where it was just like he had to like defend himself on national TV to like I don't know if I mean obviously his dad agreed to be on the show, but like he probably felt
Yeah.
pressure to be on the show. Like it just felt really gross.
Yeah. And so the first part that I kind of felt like the whole concept of this conversation being on national TV is gross. But the thing that really felt super gross to me outside of that was it didn't seem like his father thought this was the conversation that was going to happen. So, like, my vibe was like, I think Matt did feel like he was in control and he was able to like set the scene and he wasn't necessarily as exploited as we thought he was going to be going into this conversation. He still was. That's like the nature of being on the show and being vulnerable this way. But his father at one point described like, we're here to celebrate you. This is a celebration. And I was like, that word did not come from him. Like it, to me, it felt like, because I would not describe, if I was a family member coming onto the show to see, my relative being on it, celebration is probably not how I would describe it. It felt very much kind of like a planted thing. And then like the way the conversation starts, it felt like there was a disjointed expectation of what was going to happen. Like Matt was ready for this conversation and his father was like, wait, what? And kind of put him on the spot, like you said. And I just kind of, that felt icky to me.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, it just like, yeah, I mean, it felt disjointed. It felt like, I, I don't know. It was hard too because on each of Matt's dates, he brought it up to each of the women and was like, "Oh, I had a conversation with my dad." Like, it kind of seemed like he got some sort of resolution out of it,
Yeah.
which is good, I guess. So it seemed like he did. I mean, he did like continuously bring it up. So it did seem like it was something that like he wanted to do,
Yeah.
which is good. It just felt like awkward watching it, and I just felt bad for his dad, honest. I mean, I felt bad for Matt too.
Yeah.
Not because I feel like I'm not in that situation. It's not my role to like place blame on anyone, and I'm not gonna like hate
Mm-hmm.
anyone just because of like things that they've done
Yeah.
that like haven't affected me, but like I can also see the intense hurt and like years of kind of hurt, well, years of hurt, not kind of, that like Matt has felt, and
Yeah.
in his like lack of a relationship with his father, and like the um resentment he has towards him. It was just like an awkward
Yeah. And
situation, awkward thing
I
to watch.
I feel like it was also kind of irresponsible of ABC. Like, because now, like what I'm seeing on social media, and I've seen other people comment on this, and I am not claiming that I'm going to phrase this the right way or that I understand it or I have any proximity to issues like this. But like the conversation about like Black fathers and like Black men, like by not like there's no context, right, to why Manny wasn't there for Matt and Matt's brothers like childhood. So it perpetuates by not discussing the context, the stereotype of Black men and Black fathers without acknowledging the very systemic reasons why some Black men cannot be there for their families. And that felt, it felt like they were trying to have a woke conversation without framing it at all. You know, does that make any sense?
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I also think another reason why this is a conversation that's awkward to have on TV, especially in this context, is because like that's not what I mean, I don't think that's what like Matt
I
necessarily
know.
needs. Like he doesn't need a
Yeah.
conversation about like race and
No. Yeah. And
racial expectation. And not I know that's not what you're saying,
yeah.
but I think that just makes this feel kind of ickier, right? Because like
Yeah.
we don't have any context. I mean, I know Manny said at some point like my father died when I was really, really young, so I
Yeah.
didn't really know
I
what
didn't.
I was doing, and like
Yeah.
like
And like, let's
at
talk
least
about
I'm
intergenerational
here.
trauma.
Exactly, exactly. And he was like, at least I'm here. And Matt was like, well, that's not the same thing, which like is so sad and like requires so much more work and such a deeper conversation that like maybe they did have, and maybe like it was cut out, or maybe this is like a step in the right direction for them to have continuous conversations on this. um but it's just hard to put those sort of expectations on this conversation,
Yeah.
especially if it was Matt the one, especially if Matt was the one pushing for this conversation, which it kind of seemed like it was, that he actually did want this. Like
Mm-hmm.
it, it, I think the only thing that really matters is like whether Matt felt like he got some sort of resolution out of it.
So Rachel Lindsay is back from her social media like blackout, which I hope that she is okay and like is doing okay. Um, and I saw her say, "Wow, I have a lot of thoughts about this." And I kind of like glossed through what she thought and kind of pulled out some of the things that I felt icky about that I just talked about. I heard echoed in her own thoughts. Um, but some of the responses that she got were kind of made me feel like this is more of a problem than I think really we're acknowledging in this moment, like that representation of his father, like white women saying, "Oh, the 3 Black people I know don't have fathers," and it's like, okay, pause. So that's, I mean, that's kind of why, like, I took my toe in the water, saw this, felt like it represented how I felt, which I think it made me feel less crazy. So I was like, this is kind of dangerous, but like not for me to say. Saw it reflected, and then saw what people who look like me responded to this with, and I was like, no, that's not cool. No, no, that is actually problematic and part of the problem. So that's why I thought it was worth mentioning here.
Yeah, no, I think that's actually a really good point, and it's making me kind of step back and remember that like this stuff doesn't happen in a vacuum, and like it
Yeah.
is national TV, and it's not like, and I think that's what makes like this I mean, I know we keep talking about it, but I think that's why like what makes this show so complicated, and like the constant emotional porn and trauma on this show so complicated, because like some of these conversations feel like they shouldn't be happening on TV, but they are happening on TV, and it's causing people to react, and it's causing people to like say things, and it's causing people to either have conversations about it or not have conversations about it, and that's a problem. I guess
Yeah.
it goes back to like, I mean, not really like impact versus intent, but kind of in the way that like the star of the show or the contestants on the show want to like talk about these things, but I mean I guess like the show or the people, like someone, I don't know, again, I don't know who, but like it's
Yeah.
having an impact, and what are we going to do about it? Like this is Matt's truth about like
Right.
his issues with his father, and so we can't say like, oh, him telling his story is bad because it perpetuates
Yep.
like this racist stereotype. But also, this is his truth, and we can't silence him because of that. So, like, what do we do
Exactly.
about it? Like, is it ABC's role to like have conversations about this, or like, I don't know. I'm just talking shit. I have no idea what.
No, you're not talking shit. No, I think you just summarized why I watch these shows and why I am always constantly disappointed by these shows.
Mhm.
Because they're where conversations like this are happening. They're jumping off points for people who might not be exposed to stories like this, or to people like Matt, or to people like, Bree or Rachel or any of the contestants. But also, like, with that, there's a responsibility to be responsible, for lack of a better word. It's impact versus intent. Like, it has a big impact that may not have been the intent, but you're responsible for it.
Yeah, and I guess it kind of, I mean, it just reminds me too of like Chimamanda Adichie's like the danger of a single story too,
Yes.
because like if this is the only kind of media that someone is consuming where they see like a strong black man and he like
Mm-hmm.
part of his storyline is that he doesn't have a dad, then like that's kind of confirmation bias where like, oh, all the black
Exactly.
people I know don't have dads. And so Matt doesn't have a dad, not doesn't, but like has an absent
Yes.
father or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like confirming that stereotype for them. But then
Yeah.
what do we do about that?
Well, this is why, I mean, and this transitions us into the larger conversation of the episode itself. That's why I think it was really important that we saw Michelle's hometown, because I mean, she's biracial. It's slightly different, but like, there are like, people of color have different like families that they grow up in, just like everybody else. So
Mhm.
it's like, I think there's a way to have these stories that presents more than a single story. You just have to give them all equal airtime. And like, there is a difference between Matt being the lead and a lead of color who has, an estranged parent, versus like a contestant who maybe doesn't. And like, we don't see those stories represented the same. And like, we don't necessarily need to, but I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this, but like, there are different examples of love on this show. Period.
Yeah.
I don't know where I went with that. It made sense in my head.
No, it made sense when you were saying it out loud too. I was picking up what you were putting down.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Um,
makes sense.
yeah. I don't know. It felt icky. It did. And then we got into the fantasy suites. And
Where
none of
did
these
we
were
even
fantastical, I
start?
will say. None of these were a fantasy. So that term has lost meaning. Um, what did you think of Michelle's Pennsylvania Dutch spa date?
Okay, that was so weird. I mean,
So gross.
I get that they like doing weird stuff, but like I feel like a milk bath is not healthy for like your.
Your vaginal bacteria?
Yes. That was the only thing I could think of. I was like,
She's
that's a
gonna get a UTI.
yeast
Yeah.
infection. Yeah, or a
Yeah.
UTI, some sort of
Yep.
bad thing.
Well, and like, also understand, like, you want to do, like, they want to do weird things for like the shock value and for the entertainment value, but like, okay, then do something that is quote unquote weird that's actually a thing people in that area do.
I know.
Like, the Pennsylvania Dutch are not taking milk baths. That is antithetical to their whole value system. Like, they're not rubbing each other with butter. You definitely got those sticks of butter like at a Safeway or something. You did not get them from an Amish farmer, and I will not believe that you did. Sorry, Pennsylvania Dutch. Amish and Pennsylvania Dutch are two different things. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it was gross. And then like the way they were like slippery and like shiny really made me go.
I know, it was so gross.
like I bake a lot and I bake a lot with cold butter, and there is nothing worse than the feeling of like butter residue in your hands. Like you cannot wash that shit off. It sticks with you for a little bit. Like just imagining that over my whole body, it like makes my stomach grumble.
Yeah.
Also it made me a little hungry watching it. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I want some dairy.
Okay, speaking of that, kind of in the beginning when they first got there and they did like the oatmeal feet thing, and
Yeah.
Michelle stuck her hand in there and was like, "Here, try it." I was like, "Oh no,
It's gross.
no.
Don't do that. Her bikini though was gorgeous. I don't know if you remember it.
So pretty.
I saw it and I was like, I would like this bathing suit. It was like a high-waisted bottom with like it was like kind of like an athletic-y sports bra top, and it had like a little bow, a little knot in the front. I was like, I would like this.
Yeah, it was really, really cute.
It was like sexy in an understated way, at least. So I like that. I wrote this quote because it was honestly one of my favorite moments of this season. They are at their dinner portion of their date, I think, and they're talking about their relationship, and it comes after Matt tells her about his conversation with his father, and they have a conversation about the difference between falling in love, being in love, and staying in love. And I fucking was here for it. I thought it was so important. I think that's something everybody in every romantic relationship struggles with. And it's like, to me, it just shows like Michelle is emotionally mature enough, I think, for an engagement at the end of this, which is never something I feel confident in judging in other people. But the fact that she's thinking about that and they've had a conversation about it, like fucking A+ work. Like that's great emotional work.
I kind of feel like Michelle got a bad edit throughout the whole show, because even in some of like, I mean, not a bad edit, like it's not like she came off poorly.
She didn't get the front runner edit.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like she has such a cool personality that we didn't really get to see. Like we could tell in some of the deleted scenes at the end and in some of the bloopers that she is so freaking funny and like seemed to get along really well with the other girls in the house and was like joking around with them and stuff. And we didn't see any of that in the show. And she, like, I don't want to say she's like, by the last couple of episodes, we can tell how like awesome of a person he is. But before that, I was like, like they had a really good date, but like she's kind of boring. Like she's not really bringing anything. But I think she just got like a bad edit because she's actually like amazing.
Because they spent so much time focused on the fucking bullshit and the drama in the house. They didn't get to flesh out anyone's storyline.
Yeah.
Seriously. Or like personality. I guess this is less housewives and more, bachelor. It's still a storyline, let's be honest.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Also, just pointing out, she's basically the female version of Matt.
They are so similar. I don't know how spoiler alert, I get. Spoiler alert, I guess.
Spoiler.
I can't talk. I don't know why he doesn't pick her.
I don't know.
Not pick her. Like,
I don't know.
Is he just like physically attracted more to Rachael? I don't get it. Because they're like, I just don't get it. Like, she and Matt are so perfect for each other.
Yeah. I don't know.
Are they too similar? I don't know.
I mean, that's always a possibility.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think she had, despite the fact we know that she doesn't win, I think she had the best fantasy suite, honestly. I felt like that was the couple I saw like through the whole episode. I was like, okay, that is the couple that should come out of this. But time will tell. Reality Steve will tell.
Yeah.
How freaking terrible did you feel for Bree's fantasy suite?
She was
For those who maybe don't watch and just listen to us talk about it, Bree got the shaft on her fantasy suite. She is very much an indoor child, which is totally fine. A lot of the contestants are. And they took her camping.
I know, and she literally said, like, I am the least outdoorsy person ever. I don't
Yes.
know why this is happening.
Yeah. And she like the panic in her eyes when she thought they were camping. It was like, oh no.
I know.
Also, at the beginning of the date, Matt welcomes her by saying, "Welcome to the outdoors." And I cackled. It's like, thank you. All right, Matt. And then he said she looked like Dora the Explorer, which was hilarious.
That was so funny.
There was a shot of like them walking like off into the woods after he said it, and she is like literally 1.5 feet taller than him. He's just freakishly tall.
Oh, short. Wait.
Oh yeah, 1.5 feet smaller than him.
Okay. I was like, wait, did I miss some weird shot where like she was standing on a tree or something?
No, she's so much smaller than him.
Yeah, she really is.
He was so huge.
I know. Oh my God.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Brie. I think she's cool. It was obvious that that wasn't gonna happen. So I don't know what else to say about that.
Yeah. Do you like your marshmallows burned on s'mores? Because I don't.
I do, yeah. I like burned marshmallows.
Is it like the umami of it? Like what is the
I think it's a crunch because I don't like
get enough crunch from a graham cracker?
Yeah, but I don't like the like thick like
Yeah, okay.
you know,
Like
like
marshmallows, like when they're gooey, like it's all you're eating.
yeah, I mean I like the gooiness, but it's like the gelatinousness of a marshmallow that I don't like. So it needs to be like real, like it needs to be burnt and like real melty on the inside.
Gotcha. One time I went camping with my family, and I had 8 s'mores and then I threw up.
That's a lot of s'mores.
It's a lot of s'mores. I was definitely a child when it happened, and I definitely haven't really had a s'more since.
Well, should we talk about Rachael?
I.e., white women tears, the whole segment. Like,
yeah. Let's talk about Rachael for like 5 minutes, then talk about something else because I'm so sick of talking about her.
Yeah. So her date, it was a great date. She she definitively got the best date.
For sure.
The other ladies had hotel rooms. She had a full out fucking house.
And it was so pretty.
It was so pretty. And there were fireworks, like the whole 9 yards. Plus, her date portion was ghost inspired. Like they were making pottery together. And she was just like so fucking in her own head that it was just like nonsense. But Brian and I talked about it like at the beginning of the episode. I was like, oh, so which would you prefer? Would you prefer to be the first or the last hometown? And I said, definitely the first. And he said, I don't know, maybe the last. And I was like, you can't be the last because then you have to remember you're going through like the emotional ups and downs of all of these other women going on their fantasy suites. And then you bring all of that to your date. And then your date becomes about that, which is exactly what happened. Versus like if you go first, like you go first and you have all these great memories and it sustains you through the emotional journey of the next couple contestants going through their dates. So Rachael basically like loses her goddamn mind. And there's so many awkward shots of her just like crying at whomever is home. And it was just like the freaking cameramen were obsessed with her tears. And I was like, no, I'm not here for this. I wasn't.
Yeah, it was annoying, honestly. I was like, annoyed the whole time.
And it was so annoying too, because like when she's like walking up to him, it's like one full airtime minute of her being glum walking towards him, wearing the dumbest outfit I think I've ever seen. We both texted each other about this. It was like this like tight Henley situation, but had a triangle cut out over her belly button. Because, you know, that's the most sexy part of any person is their belly button.
It was so ugly. That and the dress she was wearing at night was so ugly too. Stephanie and I were talking about it because her fashion, like Rachel's fashion is just so bad. And my friend Steph was saying that it looks like she just like she's like Gen Z like Instagram TikTok fashions, like buying shit on TikTok ads.
It's just Fashion Nova.
Yeah, whatever. That's what it is. Yeah, whatever not H&M because that's
nasty
millennial
gal.
thing.
It's Fashion Nova.
Yeah, but like the Gen Z version of like Forever 21.
Yeah, I was not a fan.
Yeah, it was all real ugly and freaking like everything Michelle was wearing was so pretty. The dress she wore in her dinner was so simple but so pretty. Like the slit in it, I was like,
yeah.
Wow.
The dress that Brie wore to the final rose ceremony with the
oh my god, and
the high neck and the no back.
Oh my gosh, it was so
gorgeous.
pretty. Yeah.
Do you think they coordinated wearing all black to the final rose ceremony?
Yeah, production definitely told them to wear a black dress for sure.
It was pretty.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, do you think Rachel would ever choose a long black dress? No, she would probably wear a black version of that ugly scrunched up red dress she wore on the date.
Hayley and I are not fans of ruching. Yeah, no, I didn't love that either. Yeah. Their breakup I thought was really sweet. Yeah. Because Brie was like, I'm really hurt and I'm disappointed, but like I can't be mad at you. And I was like, yeah, and it was sweet. And he was like, I'm sorry. And I thought it was sweet.
Yeah. Also, it's just hard, like, because I mean, we know what happened. So like it's hard. I mean, like we know what happens. But like both Brie and Michelle said I love you to Matt and he just like kissed them. And I was like, ooh.
Thanks for sharing that. Yeah.
Like, well, no, for one of them, he didn't even say any, like, I think for Michelle.
Brie, he just kissed her.
Yeah. Okay. So one of them, he didn't even say thanks. He just kissed her. And I was like, red flag.
Yeah. Okay. So that was like fantasy suites. And I mean, they're over and it's done and it's great. So next week they meet the family, which is usually interesting. And judging from like the cut, like that scene where he's sitting down and like tells Chris Harrison he's not okay. Like, okay, so that doesn't come from his father that we know of. We thought maybe it did. So something bad is also going to happen. Like both of the ladies were crying. Rachael said she didn't even see him. So I don't know what's going to happen, but we are close to this thing being over.
I am so excited for it to be fucking over. So speaking of Bachelor being almost over, do we want to talk quickly about the spoiler that we found out about today?
Fucking yes, we do. And if you don't want to hear it, just skip. But the only thing that we're looking forward to these days, as Hayley texted me, was the spoilers because the actual show is terrible.
Truly.
Michelle's going to be a bachelorette. And
yay!
Bachelorette.
Okay.
We're going to get 2 seasons.
We're going to get 2 seasons of Bachelorette, which is wonderful because I am constantly reminded of how much I dislike Bachelor and prefer Bachelorette. Agreed. Second of all, so I read we'll link the Reality Steve article below, but basically we're getting 2 seasons of Bachelorette because Michelle was like, yeah, I want to be Bachelorette, but I don't want to like miss any time with my students. So you're going to work around my school schedule. Yes. And they fucking did it.
Negotiates.
Yes. So double the fun because we get 2 seasons. We get Michelle, we get Katie. Michelle still gets to like teach her students and have her job and like forced ABC to be like, yeah, fucking work around my schedule. And we are here for it.
Yes, and also confirmation that we will be getting Bachelor in Paradise.
Yes, also that.
Max is on top of the refrigerator. Sorry, I just looked over and I was like, that doesn't belong up there.
Oh my god, she's so cute.
I can't wait until I have 2 of them.
Katie, how's your scarf going?
It's going pretty well. Here, I put it away because my fingers got sore. I forget how much muscle memory you have to build.
For sure. Wow, look at it. A little hood.
Did you ever have to read Red Scarf Girl?
No.
It was like we did it. It was part of like our like brief history lesson on the Cultural Revolution in China. Yeah. I think that when I do this is like the 2 minutes we talked about one of the most major things that influences modern China, Cultural Revolution. I literally talked about it for maybe a week. 2 days. Anyway, that's how my scarf's going. How's your sweater? Major like social revolutions related to it? Arab Spring, perhaps?
I mean spring. I don't think the Arab Spring, but some sort of spring. As in the season. It's going well, I think. I'm very.
You mean not like uprise spring?
No. I mean, maybe I'll go to an uprising wearing this sweater, but maybe I'll just wear it to look like a flower. Look,
I love it.
Stem and the flower part.
Yeah.
Well, in closing, shall I read a random sentence? Not the last sentence, but a random
Come on.
from
Yes.
The Wig, the Bitch, and the Meltdown. Okay.
This is a good sign.
Okay, I don't know. I'm going to read a quote that's on the middle of page 125. I don't know who's saying this. I don't know what the context is. It's just the first thing that I saw, and I'm going to read it to you. Ahem. I told her last week, if you want another New York City douche, I can go to CBS on West 23rd Street and get you one. The end.
Okay, I just need to we can't end on that because we need to do a medical disclaimer. You should not douche yourself. It is bad for the pH of your vagina, which is the interior of your reproductive system if you are biologically female. Do not douche.
Read the Vagina Bible.
Read the Vagina Bible.
By, who's it by?
Jen Gunter.
Yes, we will link it yet again in the show notes. By the way, if you want to support the show, all of our links to books are affiliate links. And if you buy something from bookshop.org using our affiliate link, we'll get like $1 or $2, and then we can buy books for ourselves.
Or yarn.
Or another way to support the show is DM us your what our addresses are, and you can send us yarn.
Yes, or if you DM me, I will give you my Venmo and you can deposit money for all of the laughs I've given you.
Oh yeah, that's safer than sending people our addresses. Yeah. Also,
I don't know. You don't have to do that either. We're doing this for fun.
Oh yeah, don't feel like you have to support us. The world is crazy enough as it is. And if you listen to You're Wrong About, please don't tell them that we copy everything that they say, because this is basically just us copying them talking about their Patreon.
So, this has been Make It Nice.